Make sure I got this right. Okay. All right, wrapping it up. Sorry, I'm a little bit cold, so I'll try to speak up, but please forgive the voice. So over the past several tours of mine in the Navy, I've noticed that there's a lot of systemic problems that we keep coming across and that never seem to get fixed. And so my thesis essentially is that it's because there's people who should be doing this job that aren't doing this job because there's no organization for them to be doing the job in. First of which, doctrine. Who is writing cyber doctrine that we are all going to train to, that we are all going to implement, that we, as a military, understand this is how we fight? Now, the quick answer most people want to give on this is Cyber Command. But every time you say Cyber Command, you're giving an already overtaxed organization that does not have the institutional competency to handle all these different things, more things to handle. General Hawk already has 3 major hats he wears. Let's try not to hand him more, because they're not going to bump off the top ones, which means it's going to get delegated to some 06 who's an artillery officer to handle this.
Or worse, a ship driver.
Yeah, Crippy, I totally understand that one. Capabilities. Every service has something that develops its capabilities. So there's, in the Navy, it's our SysComs and our PEOs, have the equivalent in the other services. Also develop a range of capabilities. We have large ships, we have small ships. We have small arms, we have mortars, howitzers, long-range missiles, ballistic missiles. These have various costs, various capabilities, various uses. You don't deploy a ballistic missile submarine to take out one guy with an AK. You send a squad of Marines or Army infantry with carbines. That's how you do it. But we constantly want to build the exquisite to handle every problem, or we go the other extreme, give everybody Metasploit and say have fun. Go solve the world problems with Metasploit. Both tools are fine. They have different uses. They also have different risk factors. If you're going to shoot a ballistic missile off a submarine, that decision's not taken by the CO of the submarine. He does not get to make that call. We hold that at a much higher level. So most of our cyber tools become exquisite, and then we're afraid to use them. We don't authorize individual commanders to go and use them. So if we are able to develop a range of capabilities that can exist in a range of commands, this is where the doctrine comes in. You can employ this weapon at this level, and here's how you do so. And if you go outside of that, you better ask for permission. So, again, drones. We've seen Ukraine, handled at very low level, mortars, but fighter cover is going to be at a different level, handled by a different person, and all the way up to nukes. National Cyber Intelligence Center. This one, we almost got it. In the NDAA, in the Senate version, we almost had the National Cyber Intelligence Center stood up as a component to DIA for cyber. But we don't have it. And as a result, who is doing the foundational intelligence? The answer is nobody. The Cyber Command relies on the agency to do a lot of its intelligence. The agency is a SIGINT agency. It is not a foundational intelligence agency. It is not looking at the long-term geopolitical aspects. It's tend to be more technical. It tends to look at what it cares about and answers what it can do with its means, not a holistic approach. This impacts OCO more than DCO, so it's more offensive impact, but on the defensive side, it's there as well. Our intel, this is dated. When I was doing a DCO planner, we'd even get, hey, China's really interested in logistics. Okay, no duh. Or, hey, they're on this box 6 months ago. I can't work with that as an operational planner. We have no one doing the foundational intelligence to inform operational planning. We have no one supporting operational intelligence for cyber. We have this in all the other domains. You have NASIC, you have NGIC, and you have O&I. That work isn't being done in cyber right now because there's no one around to do it. And finally, training. This is a little bit of a bright spot because down at Corey Station, there's some decent cyber training there. The Army's staying up at Cyber Center at Fort Eisenhower. A lot of good stuff is happening there, but it's happening in stovepipes. And it's not integrated with the rest of the things that don't exist. So if we're doing training for our operators, this is how you employ these weapons in accordance with doctrine. We don't have the weapons or the doctrine to train those folks to. We've also outsourced some of the training to the agency for operators and exploitation analysts. And while that is some wonderful, phenomenal training, it is also long, expensive, and exquisite. So we are not getting the more that we need because the bar is high. And it is not in the agency's interest to lower the bar. They want a high bar to protect their capabilities, their equities, and their right. Just as the Navy's right to not want to fund cyber in favor of ships, because ships are their mission. It's true of the other services as well. So this has to be a DoD-wide effort. It probably has to be Congress that gets in on this, because otherwise the services won't want to pony up the resources. So, am I solving anything here today? No. But if you start running into problems, you see this is broken. Why? Well, who's supposed to be developing the doctrine? What doctrine are we employing here? We're not. We're kind of doing it, shooting from the hip. There's a problem. Where's the capabilities? They're all one-offs that somebody somewhere farmed to a contractor that sold them something that may or may not be what's needed, but it's not coherent. It's not integrated. Where's the training? Well, we got that artillery officer in to do fires because they know fires, but they don't know cyber. Intel's just as bad. You get some all-source intel analysts coming in, great at all-source intel, but what's a packet? What's a router? We need to develop these all in depth, but they also need to be developed in parallel. Because if you just did the training, you're training in a vacuum to doctrine that the trainers are developing themselves. So that's the quick version, getting us closer to time, and I'll open it up for questions. Yes, sir.
You're at CyberCom now, correct?
I'm at NSA at CyberCom. I'm a P3 body working for NSA. Disclaimer, of course, all views are my own, not those of the government, though they should be.
So I've seen some of the stuff that you're bringing up in this CyberCom 2.0.
Yeah,
The stuff that they're trying to come up with. Obviously, it won't be a separate command, but obviously
Yeah.
something to do with that. So I'm excited to see the changes with that.
Yeah, I saw the Xord for task word for 2.0, but I haven't been involved in any of that stuff, so I have no particular insights. Again, I think they're going to come to a lot of the same conclusions, because once you start looking at the problem coherent as a whole, you realize we're missing this, we're missing this, we're missing this, and we need them. I don't think Cyber Command is going to be able to solve it because it just won't have the resources needed to do it. And like for the intelligence, DIA really needs to be the player there, and they're not in a position to really do it well at the moment.
So in summary, what are the commands we need?
Doctrine, capabilities, training, and intel.
Seems like those would all come with a new service.
Absolutely. And part of it too is if we've been arguing for new service and a new service and new service and go, well, what do you need that for? Well, here's all the things we're missing.
Yes.
And then we go, okay, let's build them. Who should own them? Well, maybe the chief of staff of the cyber forces.
Service to be named later.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.